All right, welcome to another SVG Tech Portal as part of the SVG Sports Content Management Virtual Series. We are privileged to be joined by Dave Clack, CEO at Squarebox Systems. Of course, we know Squarebox as makers of CatDV, the popular MAM system. Dave, a longtime supporter of SVG, really appreciate you joining us today.
Well, great to be here. Thank you.
So let's kind of go back. It's been a very busy few months for you guys. Obviously a tough time in the world, but in our little corner in the media and entertainment industry, people are adjusting and finding new ways to create and manage their content. So let's go back. When the pandemic first hit, you were, I would assume, prepping for NAB and getting probably some new features and cool things started up. So how did the lockdown as a result of the pandemic impact you guys? And more importantly, your roadmap strategically?
Sure. We feel pretty lucky, to be honest, and privileged to be in the business that we're in. As we hit kind of March this year, we were, as you say, right in the middle of our final preparation for NAB, and we quickly flipped into a kind of a no NAB mode. And luckily, our roadmap that we've been working on for the last year or so had a whole pile of stuff that turns out to be incredibly well timed for our customers. So a whole pile of things about making CatDV simpler and easier to use, a whole pile of stuff about remote workflows, a whole pile of stuff about cloud deployments, and probably more importantly, hybrid deployments, so that folks can make the very best of the stuff they've already got, and then overlay onto that things that enable remote collaboration, particularly using cloud technologies to make that stuff happen.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get into some of the specifics then, shall we? So since then, CatDV's debuted some very cool new features. A lot of them, as you said, cater to the applications that people are looking for right now as they work remotely. So what are some of those key parts of the platform that have been added for remote workflows over the past few months?
Yeah, sure. There's a good few, actually. So CatDV's always had one of its strengths, the ability to work the customer's way and not our way. So we don't dictate how people should work. So we've always supported things like Mac, Windows, and Linux, as well as a huge variety of workflows. So we're adding Docker. So Docker is kind of a tech thing. Who cares about that? Well, anybody that wants to do stuff on the cloud, anybody that wants to spin up new capacity in new places really quickly and do so remotely, Docker really helps with that. And so that stuff is really coming to fruition. Phase one, there's plenty more we want to do, but it means that almost all the demos and all the collaboration we've been doing internally as a team has been using these kind of cloud installed CatDV systems using our Docker capability. So that's number one. It sounds a bit boring, but actually it's really handy for being able to enable cloud and hybrid, spinning up new CatDV servers, new workers, new data movers, which is actually the kind of buzzword for remote working, right? So content is king, and one of the things that CatDV does best is hide away complexity. So we can have on-premise storage, we can have LTO storage, we can have cloud storage, we can have cloud compute, we can have on-premise compute, and then we've got someone actually sitting at home trying to actually do a job, using these creative tools, trying to work and work collaboratively with their colleagues who, again, aren't in the same place. So what does CatDV try to do? It tries to get out of the way and to make that complicated architecture really simple for the user. So I'm in my editor, I just want my content. Just get it to me on my laptop, no matter where I am, in the facility, at home, no matter whether that content's on an LTO tape somewhere in the depth of a data center, whether it's in a cloud data center somewhere else, just get me the content. And so CatDV helps us to set up these really complex architectures and just make it look really simple for our users. And so our Web3 brand new user interface, our Premiere panel, that's pretty cool and new, and that was a change we made for COVID. So we accelerated some work we'd been thinking about that enables folks sitting at home using Adobe Premiere to connect to a CatDV system either on premise or in the cloud, but not connected to storage, and be able to download proxies for remote editing and then be able to save those projects back up for rendering elsewhere. So they can download the high-res and render on their own premise as well at home, but we can send stuff up to the facility to have it rendered, or even have it rendered in the cloud. So that was a big thing, and I think it's a first. It's a world first. I mean, other people are talking about having it. We launched it, and that was a big change for us this year. We had 5 or 6 things and none of it was promises for stuff for tomorrow. All of it was stuff that was ready. So that being able to deploy CatDV in the cloud, being able to ingest cloud content, being able to use these remote workflows with Adobe Premiere, already all shippable. So that was really very significant for us. And, we were fortunate with our timing that we were just in that spot.
Sure. Yeah. It's one thing to say this is coming. It's another thing to say, hey, everybody's stuck at home. You can use it right now. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we did that. We ran a few promos. You probably saw. We gave away a whole pile of web clients for a few months, and we offered some free of charge kind of how do I move to the cloud consulting. Essentially, just we turned our support team to really offer support like that to our customers, and we've had a load of folks take up on that. And I guess it's a little bit because we feel very privileged to be in a position where the business is doing well, and we want to share some of that success, if you like, with our customers. You don't want to nickel and dime folks, just trying to help them to get work done. They've been loyal to us over the years, and we want to show a bit of that back.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk a little more about that. I mean, if you're on CatDV's mailing list or you follow your guys' social media channels, you've really ramped up a lot of the sort of messaging and content getting out to the community since the pandemic hit. So what are some of the things you've done in terms of communicating with users, making sure they have all the information they need, showing how these new features work, that type of thing?
Well, I guess the big thing that we do is we do CatDV. So it's a cheesy weekly show that we do every Thursday at 9:00 Pacific time. And we try and showcase cool things in CatDV. We've had so many announcements, so much news, that we've been able to really create some pretty good content week in, week out. I think we're at about 15 or so of these weekly shows that we do. And there's usually two of us, so we can do a bit of a double act. We try and make them informal, but at the same time educational, not just kind of, hey, la la CatDV, but how do you solve real problems with CatDV? So collaborative workflows, using the Premiere stuff. We're even doing so, we're pivoting some of our training, CatDV University, into these sessions, because we can't go around the world doing our training and hanging out with our cool CatDV chums and CatDV users. So we're moving some of this online as well. So it's becoming a great library of content, and we're getting great feedback from our customers. So we've got little idents that we put out, and we do try and make them a little bit funny and informal, and not to waste folks' time. But that's working real well, and I suspect it'll be a thing that we'll keep doing, whether we keep doing them weekly, because being creative and keep coming up with content, it's a lot of pressure on the team. So that's the big thing.
Yeah, which you can relate to your users like that, right? Suddenly you have that content factory that has to keep running all the time.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing, every time we run one of the shows, to relating to users is spot on, actually, because after every show, we run an open calendar, and anybody that wants to can book an hour with our team to say, hey, talk about the stuff we did last week. So again, just trying to engage with our stakeholders, offer a little bit back, a little bit of help and guidance. None of it's chargeable. Just want to help folks to use CatDV better, help them to get their workflows better. And so many of them have been about, well, how do I move stuff to the cloud? How do I secure stuff when it's in the cloud? And I guess we're finding time and again, we've been stepping up our services and our consulting skills and capacity in the team. It's great having a cool asset management platform, but knowing how it fits with creative tools, with storage, with archive, with cloud, with security, our team have to be kind of jack of all those trades in order to help people use our stuff better. So we've been, again, stepping up on that, doing more online training for our team, so they're better equipped to help with things that aren't CatDV, but they will help our customers.
Yeah, sure. Well, look, you guys have been very busy the last few months. You've seen a lot of changes in the platform, and we'll continue to see changes in the industry. I think a lot of the things that we're learning now are obviously going to continue even after the pandemic subsides and people are a little bit more in person. And we're excited to hear all about that. If you're watching this, make sure to check out Dave has a panel that he's speaking on day 2 of the Sports Content Management Summit. On day 1 about cloud-based workflows and the things that we just talked about here. So he'll go a little more in depth, and also make sure to check out all the rest of the content here on the SVG tech portal for CatDV. They got a lot of cool stuff that goes into detail on some of the things that Dave talked about. But for now, Dave, really appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much, and stay well.
Wonderful. You too, man. Thank you.